St. Louis, the chess capital of the United States, boasts the world-class St. Louis Chess Club and the World Chess Hall of Fame. It also plays host to an award-winning shop dedicated to chess merchandise, all-occasion gifts, and plenty more. At Q Boutique, you can shop both in-store and online for chess merchandise, autograph collectibles, chess campus souvenirs, and much, much more. From quirky greeting cards to luxury chess sets, there is something for everyone at Q Boutique. And all purchases go right to benefiting new exhibitions and programs at the World Chess Hall of Fame, dedicated to exploring chess and its immense impact on art and culture. Located on the first floor of the World Chess Hall of Fame, enjoy a shopping experience like no other and become everyone's favorite gift giver. If you can shop in store, make sure to check out QBoutiqueSTL.com for a wide variety of gifts for everyone to enjoy.
The St. Louis Chess Club is the premier chess facility in the United States and is among the best in the world. Thanks to co-founders Dr. Jeannie Cairn Sinkfield and Rex Sinkfield, the St. Louis Chess Club is a non-profit organization committed to promoting the game of chess locally and internationally. We bring the educational benefits of chess to thousands of students across the St. Louis area, promoting cognitive development, critical thinking, concentration, and analytical skills. The St. Louis Chess Club welcomes chess lovers of any age and skill level to come and enjoy the game of chess. We also promote chess at the highest levels, hosting all levels of the U.S. Championships and the American Cup, as well as high-profile tournaments that attract the world's best players, including the prestigious Sinkfield Cup, Cairns Cup, and many more. All tournaments can be streamed via our YouTube and Twitch channels that also include over 2,000 chess lectures for anyone to enjoy. Become a member and enjoy perks such as free classes and lectures, weekly tournaments, merchandise discounts, and so much more. Visit stlouischessclub.org to claim your membership today.
The World Chess Hall of Fame, located in the heart of St. Louis's historic Central West End. Want to know why chess has intrigued people around the world for nearly 1,500 years? Stop by and learn about the impact of chess from our 3 floors showcasing the art, culture, and history of the game. Landmarked by the world's largest chess piece sitting outside our front door, the World Chess Hall of Fame has something for everyone to enjoy, including various exhibitions, monthly concerts, and much more. Whether you are a beginner or a professional, there is something for everyone to learn here at the World Chess Hall of Fame. Enjoy free admission to our rotating exhibitions in our galleries and sign up for chess events, family-friendly programming, and art classes. And don't forget to stop by our award-winning gift shop, Q Boutique, and shop a wide selection of chess-related merchandise. For more information on current exhibits, please visit worldchesshof.org.
The St. Louis Chess Club Scholastic Program brings the educational value of chess to kids in schools across the St. Louis area. Active in over 100 schools throughout the St. Louis City and County, the St. Louis Chess Club has been able to reach over 85,000 students in both in-school and after-school programs. We created the Select Chess Training Program and the Junior Select Chess Training Program in order to elevate the skill level in students across the St. Louis area. These students receive professional training from Grandmaster Dariusz Swiercz. Other programs include Chess Cops, a partnership with the St. Louis Police Department, looking to improve relationships between at-risk kids and police officers in the St. Louis area, with over 600 students playing chess over the board since 2019. The St. Louis Chess Club has also created a Chess Merit Badge for the Scouts BSA, quickly becoming one of the most popular badges, with more than 250,000 Scouts earning the badge since 2011. Students of chess can also pick up a copy of Read and Write Chess. Thanks to club co-founder Dr. Jeannie Cairn Sinkfield, anyone can learn how to understand chess notation in no time. We view chess as a valuable educational tool. Learn more about our scholastic programming by visiting stlouischessclub.org/education.
It's It's 2023, and the Grand Chess Tour is back for its 8th trip around the world. Inspired by former world champion Garry Kasparov, the Grand Chess Tour hosts the top players to compete for top prizes. 8 of the world's best join tournament wildcards and travel to 4 different countries to fight for a $1.4 million prize fund. The tour kicks off in Bucharest, Romania for the Superbet Chess Classic. Then things speed up as we move to Warsaw, Poland and Zagreb, Croatia for the first 2 Rapid and Blitz events. The tour then makes its way to St. Louis, Missouri for the final 2 events. We're back in November for the St. Louis Rapid and Blitz and the illustrious Sinkfield Cup. When points are up for grabs, the best players show up. Who will be crowned the new champion? Find out when the Grand Chess Tour returns.
The following is a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club.
Welcome to our broadcast of the 2023 Spring Chess Classic. My name is Julian Proleiko, and I'm joined by Women's Grandmaster Tatev Abrahamyan. Tatev, why don't you take us through the standings for the A and B group?
Welcome everyone, thank you for joining us for another round of the Spring Classic. Before we get started, let's take a look at where we are in the standings. Let's start with the Group A, where there haven't been any changes in the standings, as all the games yesterday ended in a draw. So we still have a 4-way tie for first between Sevian, Dariusz Swiercz, Christopher Yu and Yasser Quesada, with Illia Nyzhnyk and Dardha chasing them by half a point. And in Group B, we still have a sole leader, Gergely Kantor, as in that heartbreaking game, Akshat Chandra, he was cruising through in the game and he had the winning position, but unfortunately in a key moment he didn't find important idea, and the game ended in a draw, which left Kantor in the first place. And he's being chased by half a point by 4 players, Dambasuren Batsuren, Mikhalevski, who won his game yesterday, Felix Blohberger, and Akshat Chandra, who is still half a point behind.
Let's take a look at the tournament format. So the players are playing game in 90 with a 30-second increment for the first 40 moves, then they will get an additional 30 minutes after move 40 with a 30-second increment throughout the entire game. And the schedule for the games is they will be starting at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. We will be coming to you every day at 4 p.m. Standard Time, 3 hours after the start of each round.
Let's take a look at the pairing so we can start looking at the games. So we have several key matchups of the day. So as I've been looking from the corner of my eye to the position, we have several games that actually one game might be reaching, we might be having a result soon, but our key matchup of the day is between Dariusz Swiercz and Yasser Quesada. So let's jump right into this game and let's take a look at what is going on. So currently we have an end game. We're on move 23 and white player has 12 minutes, black player has 38 minutes. And what are your first impression of this position?
Well, white is up material, so I guess I like white, but it doesn't seem trivial at all. I'm not entirely sure how I would proceed with white.
So let's do a summary of the position. So a lot of things are hanging. So first thing I notice is of course the material, and the second thing is the opposite color bishops. And we saw yesterday a game with opposite color bishops that were still rooks and knights on the board. Eventually that game ended in a draw. It was Christopher Yu's game. He didn't manage to convert his advantage. So here there is this tension of the knights. The knights are hanging, and of course the second thing that stands out to me are these deep pawns, which is a matter of which pawn will be weaker. Because if these knights are traded off, these pawns are traded off, okay, a lot of ifs, then I think if white takes on before, then immediately this pawn will fall. There's no way to defend this. Every single black piece is attacking this pawn. And if this also get traded, then we'll have 4 versus 3 with double pawns. But again, the presence of the rooks do make a big difference, as white can still play and push for an advantage. And another thing that stands out to me is this king and the back rank. So if we start moving rooks to the back rank, this might become problematic.
Yeah, would you consider a move like bishop d7 here to protect the b5 knight and maybe try to play rook c8? Or what? Oh, actually, I see the issue with that. Yeah, knight to d3 attacks f2 and c1. So that would probably be a mistake.
Yeah, so then bishop actually, that means has to stay here with the idea of knight d3. So what are white's options if not take on b4? Can I move my knight? Yes, that will be the second logical question.
Yeah, I was concerned if we move the knight, then black would just take on a3.
So black does have seems like a lot of activity in this position. So for example, if I challenge this rook, because rook a2 is coming and I don't want to allow that. So let's say I challenge the rook, and this actually might end in a very funny perpetual if you go with this rook. Because I'm constantly, actually here I'm not threatening rook c2. So here you can go knight b5 and perhaps rook c4, but rook c4 will allow. So we have to think about how many rooks we want to trade, and in this kind of positions, in general in endgames, you always want to think about what pieces I want to keep, what pieces I want to trade, if trading a pair of rooks good for white or good for black. I think black wants to keep the rooks on.
It does appear we have a move in the game. I'm not sure what Daro played. It looks like he played something to the back rank. Oh, he played the move rook to c8. Okay. So
which makes sense, attacking this bishop.
I guess his intention after rook b5 is just to play a takes b4, because otherwise you're down a piece, right? And here, yeah, I guess bishop h7 is the trick.
Oh, that's not good. And so the claim is this pawn is not falling. Let's say.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say.
So maybe you just don't have time, right? Like if I play rook d1, then.
So if I play here.
Then rook d8, perhaps.
And if rook b2, rook f1, and you grab, and now you will be up. Well, okay, this one I can always win back, but now you're up 4 versus 2. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So after rook c8, okay, so bishop h7 is a threat. So I need to defend. So g6. Where does this... So bishop cannot go on this diagonal. I think this still runs into problems.
Yeah. Maybe we can still take on b4, but then, yeah, it's not so clear how we're going to defend everything after rook b5.
So maybe we don't need to defend. Maybe we can go after this bishop.
Oh, you want to play rook e1?
e1, doesn't matter, right? So one way. Okay, so if you take, I'm thrilled about this because, okay.
Yeah.
What is this pawn structure? Like my pawn structure, I have very secure pawn structure. So as long as I don't let you double somehow, I'm very happy. And something will fall here. I think you might be getting mated as well. Well, if you go here, you'll get mated.
Yeah, I agree.
So we don't go there. But okay, so let's say I go rook e1.
Probably black will play king to g7, but then maybe you'll go rook e8 anyway. And how do I defend my bishop?
Okay, so maybe the idea is, which could have happened from g takes f5 here, and maybe knight d3. But here I'm still nervous about this king, because your check is just one check, whereas my check might be mate. So let's say I go here. You check. I think you have an amazing resource.
Oh, now I'm getting mated to the same tactic, rook a3 and.
Is this mate?
Yeah, rook h2 and then rook g3, king f5, rook h5 is mate. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing checkmate. So in this position, I have to go back, and now you capture, and again you're threatening mate. And actually, am I losing here? So I don't want to go here because this will be same mate we just saw. So I have to go here, and this actually might be some kind of an.
You're chasing me to safety, yeah, like king h5, and then after you take king g4, and the king will happily live on the f3 square, I think.
Yeah, and then rook a2 is coming and mate. How did we land here? So we went g6, and after g6, so rook c8. So we said g6 because bishop h7 is a threat. So g6 is not so much attack on the bishop. Okay, it is an attack on the bishop, but also defense against bishop h7. And now we're thinking rook e1. So it doesn't matter if we start with g takes f5 or king g7. It's all a transposition. But since I have king g7 in my lines, I'll go this way. G takes f5, and we set knight d3. And
Right.
so what did we do here? We went knight d6, so maybe I should start checking you. So check. So at least I have a perpetual.
Right, but probably we want more than that here, right? Like maybe rook. Where was our rook before? It was on c8. Okay, so rook c6, king e7, rook c7. If you go to f6, can I play knight d6 there? Because now I'm actually no. I'm
Actually,
not
you're threatening this
anything.
even less because
king
once you
e6,
take
yeah.
it, king e6, and now you have too many problems. But maybe knight d8 is a threat. But so here you're actually attacking f7, so maybe rook f8. Check. So
Yeah, we'll always have perpetual with rook f7, but I don't know how we're going to convert this. If you like rook takes b5 here, can we do any better than perpetual?
yeah, I was also just thinking I kind of left my knight hanging.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very bizarre. Obviously, we have the bar, so we know that white's doing really well here, but not entirely sure how.
So I'm assuming. Okay, I shouldn't assume. I should calculate, right? I'm a commentator. So check.
We have rook g3 here. Oh, that's nice.
Oh, because I thought Wait, is this losing?
Yeah, because rook h2, rook g3, and I collect the rook on g8, I think.
Not sure. But I'm convinced. No, I'm okay. Again, I'm getting mated. Is this mate? No. No, I don't think this is mate.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's
No,
good,
but
good
okay, this
enough,
is a
yeah.
great resource. Okay, so in this position, I can actually go to h3,
Yeah.
which means you cannot take with the rook.
But knight d6, what about king d7 here? Why is it so easy for white? This was the move I was concerned about.
Okay, so you're attacking both. So I don't have any jump. So I have to defend my rook doesn't have any of these squares. So I have to play only move. And now if you take, now I can block, if you do this. Is this still mate? If
Oh,
I
the
go-
king's not there. We can run to
Oh,
f6.
now f6, okay.
Okay, that's nice. So we're just up a piece in this line.
And then if you check, then I take this. And actually this will be mate. Oh, this is actually a really nice mate.
It's aesthetically pleasing.
So maybe it, okay, so maybe my best counterplay is to take with the knight. So now I'm threatening knight g4 and knight e4. So maybe trying to create some kind of a mating net. So you will check me. My only square is here. And this looks like a mating net. But I don't
we have
see it.
knight. Does knight b7?
Knight b7 just picks up a rook. We don't need a mating net. Well, not a
Well,
rook, but okay.
Yeah,
One distant.
this is
fully
the-
falls apart.
this is not the worst exchange to have.
So what to do after rook c8? Okay, but now we have this threat. So
Yeah, okay. I
are
think
falling
we
apart.
figured out why white is doing well. This rook c7, knight b7 stuff is probably why black's position is collapsing.
but this is very concrete. So besides g6, what other moves does black have? So your other move you either have to take,
Mm-hmm.
or you have to go g6.
Yeah, so why not take on b5, and then when you take on b4, then play the move g6?
Did we take on before, or did we go rook e1? No, we
Oh.
took on.
Yeah, I think we took on b4
Okay.
last time.
Yeah, we took on before. Okay, this is what we did. So maybe g6 here.
Yeah.
And now if the bishop... this is kind of an unfortunate square, because after you take on d4, you'll hit my bishop.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe here also I have to go rook. I don't know if it makes a difference. But king... So I don't think you... I think we saw a version of this, right?
Right, this looks pretty bad for black, I think.
So here you have to go king g7.
But luckily now there's no knight on the board, so I have squares for my bishop.
But I'm also not getting mated, which is
Right.
a pretty big accomplishment for white. Yeah, so now you have to move... where does this guy go? Here, let's say it's tempo. And so I don't know if I need to go to defend or do I need to activate?
Yeah, rook a5 makes sense to me to try to target the f2 pawn.
Because this doesn't do much. I'm still scared for my king a bit.
Yeah, if g4, g5 happens, then rook g8 would be checkmate. So that is definitely a scary plan that we have to deal with in some way. I guess it's just perpetual, right? Rook f2, king g3, and then we just check on the second rank.
Yeah, because I cannot go here.
Yeah.
So this will be checkmate. And then if I go up.
Then it's the same, right? There's rook g2 and
bishop d2. So again, we walked into unfortunate checkmate. Okay, so but we know there's this idea with rook e1, so maybe there it's so g6 was played, and
Okay.
we're thinking about rook e1 here, because this will be a transposition.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I think Daro has already played rook e1. So
Oh, he has?
yeah,
How did you
I
see
saw
that?
him
Oh,
do it on the
okay.
on the thing.
Okay, so he went rook e1. Is this, yeah, this is what we're analyzing. King g7, rook e8, and this is the position we're analyzing. And this has to be the best way for white to play, because the positions that we looked at looked very dangerous for black.
Yeah, I think any position that's a pure rook endgame where you get that structure is going to be too dangerous for black to deal with. Just too many mating nets and permanent structural defects.
Because, yeah, if the knights scare you, then you have to take. But this has to be a very bad endgame. Actually, let's see why. So I check you, I go here, and what do I do here? Because rook c4 might be some kind of a threat.
Can we just play rook g5 anyway? Because if rook g5, rook c4, I think, can I? Oh, okay, you're going to take my d4 pawn, of course. But yeah, my point was if you played like rook c4, which I don't think you should do, then take and rook f5 maybe. c3, rook c5. It's unfortunate.
And yeah, I think I can do this, right? I can just constantly harass your rook. I don't think your rook can go too far because this pawn is dangerous. Okay, so in this position, d4 is hanging, so we have to be clever. So if I check, you go here. So if I go rook f8 and I start collecting tier 7 rank. So I can take either way. So I can take with the f pawn, f rook or the c rook. So which one should we try? Because if I take this way, I'm also winning.
Mm-hmm.
This looks very scary. This looks like it's going to be. Oh, okay. Now I'm threatening mate in 2.
Oh, I was thinking you could play rook f6 check also, but yeah, that looks better because rook g5 is such a huge threat.
So if I take.
So rook d2.
So it's what, 4 versus 2. So I'm losing this pawn.
But we can just play like rook e5 and h4 even, right? Give the f pawn and bring our king in. I don't think this endgame should be very good for black.
Yeah, because you don't have. If you had h5 here, this would be a different story.
Yeah.
But since you don't, yeah, this should be just winning because this pawn will fall, and this pawn is also not getting too far because here you just lose this pawn immediately. And this rook is nicely centralized. Rook d8 is a huge threat, and so it's taking this pawn. Yeah, this looks very nice. So in the game, g takes f5 was played. So.
So we're expecting rook e8.
Rook
correct?
e8 or a takes b. So he might actually start with a takes b4 or rook e8. Which one?
Oh, a takes b4, yeah, might be more forcing, right? Because you can't defend against rook e8 anyway. So a b, rook b5, rook e8 is just a transposition, and there's no need to leave knights on the board if we think one sort of endgame's winning.
So king g7 would have kind of forced his hand to go for rook e8 and leave the knights on, because if you take, or no, oh, because here the bishop could move. So before the bishop would move with a tempo, so this g takes f5 actually gives white an option to do this. Is this anything? No, here I will just wait. Is this a move? So if rook f1, and I try to do this.
Knight c3, I guess.
Rook c2.
And then, oh, yeah.
And
rook c7.
oh my god.
Oh, wait. Yeah, the knight.
That was a bit of a
I did. I forgot what my point was with knight c3.
Yeah, knight c3 is a pretty nasty move. And after you take here, then you go here, and then you just collect everything.
Yeah.
So after a takes b4, so rook e8 is a threat to win a piece, so he has to take. So we will see this endgame, and this endgame actually looks winning for Daro.
Which would be pretty huge for the standings, because if Daro wins this game and none of the other leaders win their game, then Daro will be in clear first.
And before we go to Group B, there's another game I was looking at. This game was Benjamin Bike and Sam Sevian, because when we had what we looked at, it looked so Benjamin was just blitzing out all the moves, looked like it was some kind of a long preparation. So it's some bishop versus knight with pawn against pawn. So this eval is telling me...
Yeah, eval says that it's a draw, but the table base says it's winning, and the table base, of course, trumps evaluation.
But there's only one winning move. But the winning one
Right.
is very logical. You just push your pawn.
Mm-hmm. And the drawing moves are not so logical.
But I think the reason... Wait. So a4. So if I go
Eval
king
immediately
a7,
goes up.
a5, and I go here. You go bishop
Bishop.
f4.
Oh, this is
Yeah,
very
this is
nice.
this is the whole idea. So because the idea is you have the wrong bishop.
So it doesn't even matter if you lose all your material in that final position. There's no way for white to make progress. So bishop f4 cuts black's ability to go to the corner, and yeah, you just win concretely a6, a7, I believe. And once you check me, I think oh wow, this is still a draw. Wait, why doesn't a7 win? Knight d5, king c6. Oh, you have knight.
No, I think I was gonna go. Wait,
Oh.
knight d5. No, I just keep checking you, and the
yeah.
second you let me go, well, why I will go king b7.
Nice.
So there is, but okay, so.
So you have to overrule the knight first, king c6, and the bishop and pawn do a nice job of stopping the king from going to the corner anyway.
If I didn't have this pawn, actually, I could do something like this, and this I think would have
bishop
been a
c7
draw.
stalemate.
I think this is a draw without the pawn. I don't think you can win this because I just go, I just go back and forth.
Yeah, I think that's true.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, let's imagine I don't have a pawn. If you go here, then because I was thinking you check me from here, but then you would still lose. But now you can check me from d5, and we already had this position, and I check you from here. Wow. So having this h7 pawn is actually bad for black. So black wish they could take this pawn off the board. Is this such an obvious? So king b6, king e6. Is it so obvious? But he has to calculate this until the end because a4 is the only winning move. Everything else is a draw.
The nice thing about this being basically entirely preparation, he has 43 minutes to think about this position. Imagine you played a long game and it wasn't preparation and you calculated very well and you achieved this theoretically winning endgame and you have a minute left on your clock.
And he has already spent 20 minutes. So he's already into this deep thing and he hasn't made a decision yet, which it's possible that he's double checking his lines or maybe he's not seeing the win. And maybe he knows it's a win and he's just trying to figure out how to finish the game. But he has 45 minutes to make 4 moves. He can just leave himself a minute and then make the move.
Do you want to see how we got here? Because this must have been some incredible prep.
Yeah, so we got here, let's start from d4, knight f6. So some kind of a... So it's this c5 Catalan, very trendy line these days. And this c3 move, which is a key move because black is going to be losing this pawn anyway, so might as well just give it up in a way that destroys white's pawn structure, because white would rather have this pawn back on b2 and have the open file for the rook.
Yeah, what's funny is I think this position without that structural deficit for white is just flat out bad for black. Like if you castle and then knight c4, I had a game here where I played like a 2000 USCF player, and like within 2 moves I was like +3 with white, and it wasn't even like, it didn't seem like it should be that bad, but it is that bad because the difference in quality of the bishop on g2 versus the bishop on c8.
Yeah, I think this is one of those things, if you don't sense the danger from early on, you just get in a bad position because you think, what have I done wrong? I battled for the center, I developed my pieces and I castled, but this long-term problem of this bishop is actually devastating for black because it's not easy to develop this guy at all. Because bishop d7 runs into both bishop g5, maybe even knight e5, and the structure starts to fall apart a bit, which is why c3 is a key move. And actually, all of this has been played many times before, but in this game in particular, they're following a game from the 2022 American Cup. So we will see where the deviation was. So all of this was still... So yeah, the viewers can also see it. If you look at the time, it's 137 versus 135. So they're just blitzing it out. They're not spending any time. And they have more time than they started with by playing this preparation. So all of this is played. So this was Dingler and Wesley So as well. And Ray Robson versus Sam Sevian from last year's American Cup. So we're still following that game. So neither player is... so here actually Sam spent some time. The other option would have been capturing with the knight.
There's still some quite high-level games here. Dean Lee Ren versus Wesley So being probably the highest level game achieved in this position.
So the king comes in, f5 to stop the king.
And Sevian has also played, Sevian already played this against Robson, as you were saying.
So e5 was played and g4. And I believe this is where I found this game. This is where the deviation was. So in that game, king d3 was played, and here white plays g4, which is kind of incredible. Well, not kind of, it's really incredible to find some kind of a novelty on move 26. And your opponent this is the kind of thing that I do. I played some line, and then my opponent plays it, and I'm like, oh great, I already played this. I'll just keep this. Sometimes I get stubborn, and I'll just repeat a line that I've played before. So he just did some really deep preparation. Benjamin Bach, that is, followed this game that Sam Sevian has played. And g4, the engine still says is equal, but now we're going to see how we ended up where we did. So if we look at the time, Benjamin Bach, he has now 10 minutes extra than he started with. We're reaching move 30.
Yeah, so not just blitzing all of this out. So he managed to get at least 29 moves of theory on the board, if not 30. I mean, not theory, sorry, preparation.
And this is the first time he goes into think, so maybe taking this, but if you don't take it, what do you do? But he goes knight d4, and here f4 is actually inaccurate for black, because it forces us to go, well, forces Sam to go into this bishop versus knight endgame, which is possibly hard from afar. It's hard to see that the knight is just going to be too far away. And I think the reason this endgame is tempting, so f3, of course, this is untouchable. And one reason this might be tempting, because this is the wrong bishop. So if the king gets to a8, black has nothing to think about. And
okay, he's still thinking about the position with a4. I think we should let him think and maybe take a look at the B group, the standings for the. So Akshat Chandra is playing against Viktor Mikhalevski, Gleb Dudin against Balaji Daggupati, Jason Liang against Kirk Ghazarian, and Dambasuren versus Luka. But our key matchup, of course, is going to be Felix against Gergely Kantor, and it seems like there's a lot of action happening in that game right now.
yeah, at first glance, this position just looks completely lost, because if I'm counting correctly, white has two knights. That's not a knight, that's a knight. Two knights and a pawn for a rook. And the quality of the pieces is not comparable, because these knights are amazing, and this king compared to this king, no comparison. And Gergely Kantor, again, he has a minute to make many moves, 8 moves, and his opponent has 34 minutes. And Gergely did survive that scare yesterday, and again today he finds himself in a very tough situation. It doesn't look like he's going to survive today.
It's the same situation though, right? His opponent is on +1 and he is on +2, and if his opponent wins this game, he will leapfrog him. So of course, we got a thumbs up from our cameraman. Of course he's going to try to fight, but it looks like an awfully hard fight ahead of him.
So let's see how we got here. So let's go to c4, e5. So we have another 4-knight English.
e4 was played in a game yesterday. I believe that was our key matchup. It was Swiercz against Sevian, or was it Swiercz against Quesada Perez?
I don't. Oh no, it was Swiercz versus Sevian. Yes.
Okay, and this time white selects g3, which I think is a more classical move than e4.
And now we get some kind of a, basically, if d3 is played, we get a reverse dragon. but b3 is played. Rook c1, d3, and we still get two fianchetto bishops, reverse dragon position. So the knight, so black exchanged the bishops, which makes a lot of sense because this bishop was quite annoying. So knight e4, the knight is headed to c5, and we see where the action comes. So rook f6 doesn't care about this pawn because rook h6, knight f3, e4 looks like checkmate. This knight can no longer defend this pawn. And something like this, queen d5 check would have been very helpful, but the knight is covering it. So instead of taking the pawn after rook f6, you went knight f3, preemptively defending rook h6. Now e4 is not a threat because the knight is still here. Perhaps this is a threat. Now we have to worry about takes on e4.
Yeah, bishop c5 seems like it's a huge threat. So wait, so what is that? So if bishop c5, bc5 is the intention? Or
e4, so we take. This looks like...
So queen b3 check, and then queen at c3, is that the idea? Or queen f7?
Ah, but now you don't have a knight, so I can actually go to h4.
Okay.
So bishop c5 is not that big of a threat here. So instead, black plays g5, and once you play g5, there's no going back because you're just so committed to your attack. I really like this b4 move because opening the square for the queen, and if knight here, then check and some kind of a blocking. So I was wondering if we have, so this move might be dangerous because rook f8, and this will be mate.
Yeah, it's hard to stop queen h2.
But here, taking on e5 I think is enough because now there is no longer e5, e4 to worry about. Now this actually might be a threat. b7 is hanging. And of course, opening this bishop like this is going to be very difficult for black to deal with. This bishop is very strong. But instead, black played g5, and g5, this is so committal against this bishop. Playing g5 is so scary. And it looks like black paid for this. So knight goes to e6, a really nice move. So the idea of g5 is very straightforward, just to go g4 and checkmate. Of course, this is not possible. This knight just cannot move. So instead, the knight went to e6, with the idea is if g4 now, what is going to happen? So knight g5 is not a move you will take. So what's the idea here?
So maybe you can play, maybe you're not in time. I can play rook takes c6 maybe. And if you take on f3, I have bishop e5. And if you block, well, you can't move, so if you play king g8, then I believe knight g5 is good enough, collecting the queen on h3. And if you play bishop f6, I think I can take, and then maybe even something like, knight f4 should be good enough, and we take on f6, and everything somehow seems safe at the end of the day.
Take here, take here. Actually, there's no more attack, right? This knight just sits so beautifully here.
So well-calculated variation by white.
Yeah, rook c6, removing a key defender. So actually the key defender is on the other side of the board. Instead in the game, he played bishop f6, but rook c6 nonetheless. And we will find ourselves in a very similar line. So bishop e5. With the idea is that after bishop e5, then knight eg5 comes. And we're calculating this before the broadcast, knight f7, king g7. And knight h6 we're considering, but simple knight e5 is also very strong. So even though white is down the exchange, this king once again, and this very terrible pawn structure, whereas white's pawn structure is just perfect.
Yeah, this is the danger with attacking on the h-file like this with your rook and your queen. Like if your attack doesn't work, those pieces like now seem pretty misplaced. Like what is the queen on h5 doing and what is the rook on h6 doing? Like all of white's pieces make sense and black is sort of discoordinated.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a very straightforward idea, right? If it works, it works. If not, then you just compromise your position too much. Bishop e5, so knight went to d5, knight g5, queen h5, queen b2, very strong move. I like this move a lot. So side steps, takes, rook takes, but now e4. Maybe
nice.
Knight f6 was the correct, but I think knight f6, knight queen e5.
Queen b3.
Queen b3 looks very annoying.
Yeah, you can't play knight d5 because e4 would win a piece, and you have to be careful where you put your king because king h8 you like to do, but knight f7 I think would have won.
No. Oh.
And and king g7, knight e6, knight f4 again.
Yeah, this is very annoying. Okay, so instead in the game, took, rook takes, e4, h6, but now doesn't have time to take back because the rook is hanging, so he moves the rook, but knight f7.
Oh, knight f7. Wow. So the point is if queen f3, then queen h8 and queen a8. We forgot about the rook on on a8, but I think it's just too much material.
Can I?
Yeah. So I don't think this works right because if I move my queen or like even like dc6, if you play fg, I have fg and your queen is pinned.
Oh, that's unfortunate. So this doesn't work out. You can also do this and win this rook.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, this is...
Yeah, knight f7 is such a nice move. If you take the knight on f7, then there was knight e5, which forks the king and the rook, which is very straightforward.
This is like one of those studies, you know, you make a move, and no matter where the pieces move, there's a fork with the knight.
Yeah, it's some Kasparian puzzle, yeah.
Domination. So rook g7, knight goes to e5. This knight is amazingly placed. Queen is centralized. d5 was hanging.
b5's classy move, so no c5, there will always be opposite.
Rook c1. Well, now you can go c5, but I will take it. Oh, he did go c5.
And you took it.
So king g2, queen f5, queen goes to b6. Now rook c6 is a huge threat. We're taking, but these knights are just so strong. So now the rook can go to c6. I think the rook can also go to h1. We're on move 37, and white has half an hour. Black has 30 seconds. But we had something very similar yesterday, so I think it's still too early to call this game. Although after this move, I'm having a really hard time finding a move. Maybe queen f4.
I think white's choosing between a whole bunch of good moves. Like even rook c7 simplifying. Instead of rook c6, like rook c7. I don't think that black is happy about more piece trades. These A and B pawns in any endgame are going to be pretty strong.
No, I really like rook c7, so there's no more dreams of knight g3. And I think the advantage is too big. And I think this position, this position is just winning. You just have too much material. You have two knights and 3 pawns, so that's too many points. And let's jump into another game with Gleb Dudin and Balaji Daggupati, and we see something crazy. What is going on here?
Oh wow! So h5 is a nice move. The queen on g6 conveniently defends the queen on c6 conveniently defends the g6 pawn, and h5 is removing the guard of the f3 knight. How did we get here?
So what's the last move? So this looks crazy, but what's the last move?
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
And maybe his idea was to play here. But actually this move just loses all the pieces because I picked this up with a check and then I picked the rook up with a check.
It's like checkers.
This is such a heartbreaking blunder because this position looked quite nice for white. So again, there's this knight that's went a little too far from home, and white is up to pawns. So black must have committed to some kind of an attack that didn't work out. We can take a look at how we got here. Oh, another English.
English are very popular opening at this level. I'm seeing.
Queen 7. Carlsen Mamedyarov that was played. Carlsen versus Anand that was played in 2008. So 92. Wait, Carlsen Anand 2008. No, that's not the match. So
That must have been, Carlsen must have been pretty young in 2008. It was up and coming. He wasn't world champion yet.
Yeah, it was 15 years ago, right?
So he was like 15 years old during that game?
I think he's I think he's 32.
Oh, okay.
I believe he's turning 32 this year. So rook e8. Okay, but I keep going back and forth between this move. So this d5 move was quite nice, and this diagonal is just going to be too weak. So takes, wins this pawn. So knight goes to c6, takes, d takes. Okay, so white won a pawn, but there has to be some compensation on this diagonal. So rook c8, centralizing, queen goes back. b5, b5 is pretty annoying against this knight, trying to dominate it. Queen g4, queen d6, and knight f3. But now that I see this knight f3 move, Because if the knight goes on d4, the knight on d4 it will be very annoying because it will stop this knight e2 checks and kind of close this d file. So rook d8 is useless, which makes me wonder if rook d8 maybe was the accurate way of playing, because now the knight cannot go to f3 d4.
Yeah, just playing against the knight, not having so many anchor squares.
Yeah, this knight actually, where is it going?
I mean, right now, I guess we're trying to play knight c6 and knight d4. So yeah, queen c7 stops that.
So we have to play here, and maybe the knight goes this way, but I think this is quite annoying. Maybe I can go rook d2, or maybe I don't have to provoke before, I just let your knight be kind of awkward here. But instead he played b5, so queen g4 is nice because the knight is headed to d4. So he gives up another pawn, queen rook c2, so I think he thinks
so
there's
he
some
probably
domination here.
thought this attack was just really strong and white's pieces are kind of tripping over each other's toes. And based off the position he has right now, that's probably correct, but I guess there's something here for white that consolidates.
Rook d7, g6, and this is where we see the blunder. But if I don't blunder, can I, is there a threat? Can I take this? Is actually, question is h5 a threat in this position?
I think so. I don't think you have a move after h5. Maybe you can try, can you play e4 just to prevent like, like rook d7, g6, e4, or e4 before rook d7 even? No, this also loses the game somehow.
Why?
Oh, rook f3 maybe. No. Well, because if you have to play king takes, right?
Right. King takes is, I feel like we're inspired by the previous game. Okay, so I can go h5 again and do this.
Yeah.
But maybe you don't have to go to, can I go somewhere better? Can I go to, but it doesn't matter, right? Oh no, my rook is hanging. So I have to go here. Okay, so maybe this rook d7 actually was kind of problematic because it overworked the queen.
Yeah, can we try e4 without rook d7?
Because rook f3 here is also a threat here. So this rook d7 might have been a bit inaccurate. Yeah, e4 is nice.
Just blocking the diagonal.
I wanted to go h5 again. Like, wait a minute, h5 is hanging now. Yeah, and now maybe you can even consider giving, I don't think we want to do this, but like giving up one pawn and trading queens.
I mean, certainly you can never be worse after e4 because we're up 2 pawns and giving one back shouldn't be enough for black to be better.
Yeah, so let's see what has happened in the game so far. Oh, so after rook fd1, very unfortunate, white had such a nice position. h5, queen went to g5, queen f3, and king h3. Is there an immediate mate? So queen g6 is hanging, and queen f5 is, I suppose, is possible, but maybe this endgame is not so clear. So rook d8 is a threat, then come back to d7. Maybe the rook can pick up a lot of pawns. Let's say you take on f2. So now knight g1, knight f3. So knight g1, knight f3 is mate in 3?
Yeah.
So let's say we
It's a nice idea.
So I don't have time for this, right? Because this is still mate. Some version of Arabian mate.
Yeah, I'm always so bad at these nomenclature, chess nomenclature when it comes to mate.
So king h3 played, but I'm not sure if black wants to trade queens or try to checkmate this king, because this is a threat. I don't know if queen h6 cannot be a threat. How can I defend this pawn? Can I play here? So now you're threatening queen e6. So I don't have time, queen h6?
Maybe rook e7? Is that clever or no? Because rook e7, if you play queen f5, my idea is to take and go rook d7. No, okay, but I'm not even threatening anything. No, but if you do that, then maybe I have rook d8, rook f8, and then rook d7.
What did you want to do? Rook d8?
Rook d8, rook f8, and then rook d7. and try to get perpetual somehow.
If I take...
I'll go rook d8 again.
No, but now you lost the pawn, remember?
Yeah.
Now we're back where we started.
Oh, yeah. So.
But here you have to... But here I cannot... so now knight g1 is a threat.
King h4?
Yeah, now you have to run. Yeah, and now maybe you have some kind of a idea. But I wonder if we had something else here. I want to go rook d6, but I think knight g1 is mate. Right, this is mate.
Yeah. It's just
unfortunate.
mate in 1.
Yeah.
It's a very unusual construction.
Yeah, this knight kind of checkmates.
You play your black knight to white's knight starting square, and that's checkmate. resetting the pieces on the opposite side.
So in the game, queen went to f5. So he went for this endgame. So can I go? So white is thinking. Oh, he took. Yeah, they took. Of course, rook takes. This is kind of silly to compromise the pawn structure.
And the rook's bad on f8 also.
Let me promote this so we see this. And what did we do? We took on a7, right? But maybe there's other possibilities. Like I cannot go f4 because now this rook cannot move. Because again, this checkmate.
Yeah, although maybe we can play f4 followed by king h4 without moving our rook from the back rank. Like
you're playing like you're not the other piece. You're like I play f4 and then I play king h4.
I don't know.
No. You take this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, this knight jumps are actually.
Oh, knight d4. That's interesting. Oh wait, after knight d4 I have g4. That's why it might be okay. Because rook h2 I have king g3.
So now every single one of my pieces is somehow under attack. And I'm probably just losing material at this point.
White's playing for the win.
So what is the position? Rook f5, and white has a tough decision to make if he's going to give up this pawn. I can't see why he might play f4 because it's when you're playing this position, you might feel like if my opponent takes on f2, I might get mated here, right, in this structure. So you might just want to not give this guy up. Or here, so here again we have this, we had this endgame, right, the knight versus some pawns. So if we can trade all the pawns magically.
I've just learned that Felix has defeated Gergely Kantor, and now this actually changes the standings quite a bit because Felix has officially leapfrogged Kantor in the tournament, going from +1 to +2, and Kantor has now gone from +2 to +1.
So let's see where we are. So we saw all of this, we saw this, and he played rook h1. He decided he doesn't want to trade, he wants to checkmate. Queen f4 was played, rook h3, simply defending, not allowing any kind of threats. And queen comes to d4, and is this queen trapped? No, but he just picks up another pawn, and he's almost captured all of his opponent's pawns, and I think... so the clock shows 0, but maybe he just resigned. Actually, we're on move 41, and I think he just didn't want to play this position anymore. When you have a bad position, like you said, you have no time, so you just play because you have no time. There's nothing to lose, but at this point, he just didn't want to play this game anymore. So really nice win by Felix, who is now leading the tournament. And let's take a look at this game. Let's see if a decision was made. Not yet, so we're expecting... what are we expecting? But is it possible to go g4 here, actually? Because if I trade pawns, I'm quite happy. So let's say you take, you take, I take.
You always have to worry about rook d8 and rook d7.
Yeah, okay, if you take, I'll mate you. And so now this knight is actually kind of trapped, right? It's really out of the game. And if we trade, the problem is the knight will go to c3 and defend b5. But if we can trade,
if we can trade all the pawns for all of black's pawns, we have 4 to 2 pawns. Then probably we're not losing.
So in this position, I'm not sure which pawn is even important to get. But I think black has really good fighting chances in this position. I don't think this is like, oh, he blundered and he's going to resign. Which maybe queen f5 practically wasn't the best move, although I think, actually practically, I'm not sure if I'm right about this, but practically queen f5, maybe the easiest move to play because your king is compromised. You want to trade queens, so in that sense, you're taking care of that. But maybe you're entering an endgame that is not easy to win. I would, like, if I was playing this, I would not think this is such an easy to win endgame.
Queen f5 feels like a really safe decision. So black is unlikely to lose the game after queen f5, but maybe you reduce your winning chances by some margin. Do you want to take a look at the Daro game from Group A? Because I'm not. We probably have gotten moves by now. What kind of decision did he make?
So we left off around here, right? No, we left off here. No, we saw all of this. So we saw this, so he went rook e8, and knight went to d3. So he left the knights on.
Mm-hmm.
So rook g8, king went here. So we saw all of this, right? So, okay, he's repeating a few times.
So we thought that the knight d6 was interesting, right?
Knight d6, yeah, we're calculating something like this.
The idea of rook c7, knight b7 at the end being quite favorable for white.
And instead he went knight c3, so claiming you cannot take this pawn because I will take here. So knight took, rook f8, he's going after this pawn, but this also is, like, all these positions feel like a mating net for black. So king goes to g1 and knight to h6, wow. Defended the f7 pawn, actually it's defending all the pawns. And pawn goes to a4, rook d4, and rook b5, and this is the final position. Oh wow, so it feels like black has actually got away with a lot of things here. The knight on h6 is a very funny piece, but it's the best defensive piece. So if I move my rook to, where do I want to move my rook? I want to move it here, and then I wanted to start pushing this pawn, which is not easy because I want to be able to check. Okay, he went rook to a6.
Yeah, so why can't I take the pawn on d5 right away and then return to c3?
So if you take this pawn, I will go here, I believe. Can you go knight e7 even?
What's your threat? So if I take on... Okay, if I play like rook, any rook takes a4, and you take on f5, and then I take on f5 and play like rook f6.
Yeah, this is a key move. Because if you don't have rook f6,
right, I'm in big trouble, yeah.
Yeah, but this 3 versus 2 should be very easy actually, because you'll put a pawn on h6 and it's impossible to make a pass pawn here.
Yeah.
Instead what happened? So he went rook a6, so we're asking, you wanted, instead of knight, whatever I played, knight e7, you wanted to go back. And you are up a pawn. But now the position is a bit open. Can my rooks enter the game? Oh, actually this is happening. He took on d5, and we're going to reach move 40 soon. So after king g7, this is Dariusz's 40th move. Actually, king g7 wasn't played, but I expect the king, to go to d7. I don't think the king will get adventures here.
Yeah, king e6 seems like it's just walking into problems. Knight c7 would be nice if our rook wasn't on c7, but yeah, it's also just exposed to future rook checks.
Yeah,
knight c3
rook
back.
e5, and so, but that's still a top decision. Let's see where he's going. Okay, he went king g7. Oh, he has quite a bit of time. He has 15 minutes. And now the pawn is hanging. A5 is also possible with the idea of rook b6.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't know if we want to go rook b6, but okay. A5 is it possible? Can I go here?
Rooks, yeah, I think you can still do rook c5 and then like knight somewhere, yeah.
But maybe here, can I try to activate a bit?
So knight b4, you're going rook a1.
Oh, I almost blundered. But actually, no, here I can start checking you, right?
Yeah, I have to be careful where I put my king too,
Yeah.
because I don't think I want to give knight g4 check for free. And also, yeah, this would be a horrible way for us to lose the game with white. I remember losing a game like this with white once when I was like 1900. I played a master, and I was up like a million pawns like this, and I lost to this like knight g4 construction. Never again.
This knights are so tricky. So maybe knight c3 is the safer move because it also stops rook d1. But can I try to activate perhaps? and claim that I have a threat. Which, not 100% sure this is that, but okay, if I put my rook behind the pawn, at least I can claim this is some kind of achievement. And I'm actually curious to know what is the evaluation. Oh wow, the evaluation has dropped significantly. So keeping this knight on, or it's also possible that, like, you know, this having a little hint of the evaluation just really changes our.
Yeah, I mean, with knights on the board, we had this like knight d6 trick, and obviously we have the evaluation, so it's much easier for us to come up with moves than the players during the game. But yeah, it's always so tricky playing either side of these positions where everybody's king is so weak, and there are lots of pieces in this open style position.
So,
well,
is it
now
possible to take it? I mean, this is okay with not a lot of time. This is a scary decision to make.
do you want to look at the Bach game, since these players have made move 40?
Okay, so we have reached the position we're looking at, except our knight was on f6. And we said king c6, and now the knight went on e3, and this is a funny move, because if you're tempted, we go here.
And big draw.
But here he has to find king c6, which I think he will find, because what else can he do? But he reached move 41, so he gets 30 more minutes.
I see king c5 is also winning, which is a nice move. There's like the king a square away diagonally is one of the worst positions that the knight can be away from the king, and this is also one of the bad ones, because the king like kind of cuts the knight's path. But yeah,
how do you win this? I guess you zugzwang me, right? Like you just pass, and I'm in zugzwang.
Yes.
Because now I just cannot move. I can never move the king because a7. So now my knight has to go somewhere. And how do you win this?
Let's see. Maybe.
Where do you go?
Maybe.
So this again, right? Immediately a draw.
Right. If I ever let you play knight d5, I think it's a draw.
So let's say if you go here and I go. Oh no, not here.
No.
Because here
yeah,
you take.
here I can take. Yeah.
Just in general, like. Oh, with a check. You mean? Okay, I understand.
I mean, yeah. Well, if you ever play knight d5 and I can't take it, I think it's a draw.
Okay, so after a6, knight e3, but
king c6 is easier.
yeah, king c5 seems unnecessary. Okay, so if you go here and I go here, is this already a win? No, this is immediately a draw. So you still have to calculate. You still have to find some kind of a triangulation. Unfortunately, the database tells me that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 moves are winning. So I think that's most of the moves in the position. So let's see how we win this. So if I pass and I check you,
I have to go king c5, right?
and then we landed where we are. So eventually white has to find a win.
So can I play the move? So I want to be
I
able.
wanted to go here because I can dominate your knight.
Yeah. Yeah, I really want to dominate the knight somehow, but it seems impossible to both dominate the knight and stop the king from coming to b8. Yeah, it's still very, very, very tricky.
So if I go back and forth, so how do we dominate a horse?
Oh, wait. So if I play bishop d6 and you play knight f5 and I play king c6 and you take me and I go
No, but I don't take you.
Okay. But if you do take me, then a7 wins.
But if I don't take you, what do I do? Oh, knight e7. No, knight e7, we go king c5.
My king came from c5, right?
This has to be game over, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I got knight e7. This is a very nice trick. So I go king c5, and you go knight f5, and now...
We're back to where we were. Maybe king b6 takes on d6, a7, and if knight c4, then king a6 and no more checks.
Oh, that's very nice.
So precise.
Yeah, you have to calculate this. And we need the knight to be on c7. But the knight is not getting on c7.
Yeah.
So how did we do this?
Knights are very funny pieces. Like if I like this diagonal trick because it's one of the furthest distances the knight can be away from something.
So how did we do this? So we went, so the knight went to e3. So we went king to where?
So we went king c6, I think.
Yeah, king c6 because we said king c5 is winning, but it's unnecessary.
And then
so we went knight f5, and then what did we do? No, we did
passed,
not do
right?
this.
We just
we passed.
Then knight e7, then king c5, then knight f5, then king, or then we passed again.
No, not this. Yeah, we passed again.
Then.
So we waited until knight e7 and we played bishop d6 with a tempo. But he has to work this out all on his own, which is tough to do, and that's what he's doing right now. Sam currently is not at the board as they have reached move 40.
Of course, he's spending a lot of time because if you mess anything up, that's the difference between a half point. And you don't, these are the sorts of positions where it's really worth it to spend that extra time. Yeah, the main point here was, if knight f5, any time the knight is attacking the bishop, you can just go king b6 and hang the bishop because a7 will make a queen.
This cannot be right. I know it doesn't feel right because the knight went too far away.
So the trick is if we play a7, then you once again have this knight b4, knight d5 trick, and you will check me forever, perpetual.
Because if you run away, I mean, this is just a draw already. Okay, but knight c2 cannot be a good move because the knight just goes too far away and feels like knight will get dominated here. So if we go bishop d6 or...
Yeah, bishop d6 looks really strong.
You know, it's funny because if with this configuration, if I come and somehow get your knight, I have time to do it because your king cannot get close to my pawn.
Yeah, king c5.
But I don't know how I can trap this knight. Let's say here.
Bishop d6.
So h5.
King c6. And then a7 next, no matter what.
Okay, so knight c2 just doesn't feel right. So the knight has to be here so it can give some chance. Oh, actually here you're not threatening. Even after king c6, you're not. After king c6, you're threatening a7. Okay.
I think the big point in this endgame is whenever we put the bishop on d6, we want to play bishop d6 before the knight's on f5, because obviously we can't let the knight take the bishop on d6. But after we play bishop d6 and the knight goes to f5, we can play a7, and it's just checkmate.
So here, okay, here is a7, sorry. So here, and here if you're pushing the pawn, we can just kind of hang out until...
Yeah, until you play knight e7.
King c6. Here, how did we do this? We passed again, right? Knight e7.
Yeah, sure. And then bishop d6, and then whenever the knight attacks the bishop, we always go king b6, right?
Wait, king b6 or c6?
I thought king b6 because knight d6, a7, knight c4, king a6, and it's domination.
Right. I'm so sad. I'm just one. I mean, it's not just even one move that you queen with a check. After you queen, you're covering the square.
Right, and then pawn could never ever go to h2 because obviously we'll just take it whenever it ends up on that square.
Well, fascinating.
Yeah, these endgames are always worth studying.
So tricky with the knights. It's always so tricky with the knights, but also knights are quite useless. So let's see how much time he has already spent. Let's see, because he had a lot of time.
He's down to 19 minutes. He achieved this endgame within an hour 20, right? And that goes to show he spent an entire hour just trying to make sure that he doesn't mess up this endgame.
So he went a4. So on a4 he spent 40 minutes. Here he spent just 2.5, 3 minutes. He played this instantly. And here he spent, wait.
He didn't do this. He played king c6 in the game, I believe.
Sorry.
Yeah, king c6 is on the board.
But spent 12 moves on this, and king c6 is the winning move. So he has found this. And did some respond? Okay, knight f5 only move, because a7 is a threat. And unfortunately for Sam, most moves are winning here, except for ridiculous moves. So it's a matter if Bach has found the winning idea. And it's possible that he might just stumble into it, just by process of elimination.
I've definitely had endgames that I've won by not seeing the ideas and just getting there by accident.
I think he has calculated this until the end. He's a very strong grandmaster, but
yeah, very strong grandmaster decided to spend an hour on the position. I think, yeah, he knows what he's doing.
And let's go back to our Group B. I'm very interested in this endgame, if many developments have happened.
Oh, wow, many developments have happened.
So we stopped here. So pawn was taken, rook d8, so he took immediately, and g4. Yeah, I think this is a very reasonable way of playing. So trades, white thinks the more I trade, the better my chances are. Oh, but wait, is this already a draw?
If we can take the h5 pawn, then.
But how do you defend this pawn?
So I guess so your idea is that we'll just go rook h7 and yeah.
Wow, so it feels like white kind of defended this pretty effortlessly. So here he had to, if he wanted to win, wait, what did he play? No, this happened. If he wanted to win, he had to hang on to this pawn. But maybe he got a bit worried that if you do something like this. I mean, this is like with the rook on b7 and your king cut off, this actually can be scary. Because if I put my pawn on a7, I'm just winning. Yeah,
even if the pawn gets to a6, you can't prevent it from getting to a7. So maybe you're already losing here, just flat out.
Let's find out. No?
No?
Okay,
well,
well,
rook c6
I don't have to
stuff. Yeah.
allow this. But what do we have in the game?
Yeah, just a draw. Wow.
Yeah, here, rook h7, you cannot hang on.
So nice save by Dudin.
Yeah, first he blunders, but, keeps
it's very
cool and saves it.
Yeah, very mature. As you have said in earlier rounds, the hardest thing to do is to readjust. Like, he was winning, and then, then obviously he was in a lot of trouble. He just, blundered a piece, and then he had to defend this endgame, which he did with seemingly very little effort.
I think not letting one mistake turn into many mistakes is what can save you a lot of games. And it's a very emotional thing, I think, and for, I think, less experienced players, because they just get tilted very easily and they just completely lose control. Like, they will blunder a piece and won't stop and think about, okay, I blundered a piece, maybe I still have 2 pawns. It's not the end of the world. Mm-hmm. Oh, and also, I've also seen with more beginner students, they'll win a queen and then they give up a bishop, then another bishop, and I'm like, okay, but you see how they'll be like, oh, but I'm still up a queen. I'm like, okay, but you're losing more and more materials, so you won't be up a queen.
2 bishops and 2 rooks and 4 knights.
Yeah. And we do have a result in Group A. Benjamin Gledura has won his game. Wow, this looks very dominating with this. Looks like, what does it look like? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up a pawn, but black cannot win. D6 is coming with mate. If you play bishop e7, then rook e1, and you just cannot move any pieces. This is such a strong domination. And hopefully we will have him here for an interview and he can take us through this game. We haven't had a chance to look at it. And I think the game in Group B we're looking at. So this game, maybe he will try to play knight versus bishop, but okay, I don't expect this to be much. So I got the news that Gledura has left, so let's take a look at what happened. So bishop c4 Italian and d6 is not a move we see very often, quite a passive move, locking the bishop in. Yeah, and bishop g4. This looks like one of those Morphe games openings.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm not a big fan of this d6 idea without the bishop coming to c5 and e4, e5 positions.
So knight d4 is a threat, so c3 was played, knight f6, d3, all of this makes sense, knight bd2. So the normal Italian positions, except the bishop is out and the bishop is on e7, so I think the idea is maybe to go g5. No, queen d7. Well, I respect this. You just start an attack. This is quite committal, and I think you do want to wait for rook e1 to do this, because as it happens, so queen d7 he is preparing to castle, so it's not like he's just closes his eyes and just pushes his pawn. So you are getting ready. Black is not hiding his intentions. I think bishop h5 was very clear. He wants to go g5 because also I think if you start with this move, can I be completely shameless? No. You will take here.
After g4, I think maybe would black sacrifice a piece in that position? Because I really don't like the bishop on g6 like positionally. Like if after h3, bishop h5, g4, bishop g6, if I play like knight h2 or whatever, I think the bishop's stuck on g6. I don't know.
Oh, I see. So it's more like Winter Capablanca kind of situations. But no, here I think I can just, because you're not really pinning me, right? This is so defended. I don't think I'll get mated here, but it's not my position. So
Okay.
I will happily play this. No, I think here I'll just move away, move this queen, knight h2. It just, you don't have a way of getting your pieces in, which is a problem.
Yeah. But if you, after g4, bishop g6, isn't black's bishop on g6 like a little stuck?
But, you have hope that one day you can move and come into play. And like h5 is just going to be I would be very scared to do this in an actual game because you move your knight and I go d5. It just, I mean, you castle, you go h3, g4 and your opponent hasn't castled.
That's fair.
Yeah, I wanted to just show it. But but no, I think I understand this idea is to play. And this position has been played before. So usually black castles. But bishop h5, you just want to go here, here, and just push your pawn all the way to g3. And so rook e1, and you want to wait for rook e1. The point I was trying to make is because g5, g4, the knight cannot go to e1, so the knight has to go to h4, which I'm not sure is so bad because the knight will land to f5. So let's just see how the game develops. So he goes g3, and the point being, if you don't go to g3, let's say you make another move and I play this, knight h4, I believe you take here, and then this guy is hanging. Because if this guy is not hanging, if I put a knight on f5, this is just so bad for black.
Wait. Okay.
You want to go g3?
Yeah, I was thinking g3 might also be interesting, but
maybe here. I don't know if I'm so scared of g3. Really want to put a knight on f5.
Right, yeah, the knight on f5 looks pretty good.
But he went g3 to just stop all of this, which is very reasonable move because after, so g4 is very committal for black because once you go g4, I put a knight on h4, it just kind of stops your attack because physically you don't have h5, h4, just physically stopping this pawn from moving, and next I put a knight on f5.
Maybe not even the knight on h4. Like you could go knight d2, knight e3, knight f5, and there are lots of knights coming into black's position.
This is quite scary. So black doesn't commit to this immediately. Castles a4, and the white's attack here is very straightforward. Just push pawns. I like this kind of things where your attack is very simple. You just push your pawns. So bishop goes back. Doesn't want to open the position, as I think this might lead to a lot of play for black. And we meant, okay, now here c3 is hanging, f5, e4 is coming. This is not great, so we want to keep the position close. So rook g8, queen c2. I mean, I have to say, this looks kind of scary. But this is one of those positions, I don't know if white is getting mated or black is just overcommitting and nothing is going to happen. So rook g6, we already saw this idea in the game that did not work out. So now he opens the position, gives up his bishop.
Wow, that's
and b5. So this is very concrete.
Yeah.
And I think what is going to happen if you take...
And then we take the knight, right?
And then the bishop goes where?
If you go somewhere, then we can maybe take on b7. Oh, you want to do it the other way. I was going to take on b7, but the point that you can't recapture. You have to go king b8 because...
I also think I put my bishop in the worst possible square because I dropped my own rook. At least I should put my bishop to e7. But okay, this might actually not be so bad. Maybe the king... It's hard to say the king will hide here, but it's possible. But
Black
this
does have two bishops.
The potential. But I mean, this is very awkward. Instead, he plays e4 with the idea...
So if you play d takes, maybe he wants...
Here?
Rook d2 is what I was thinking.
Okay, if I take here, this is game over. And if I take with the knight, what do you want to do?
Maybe rook h6. And then my idea is bishop e2. So if you take my knight on c6, bishop e2, rook e2, I think I checkmate you.
Wow.
I'm not totally sure.
I don't see a way to stop it. I have a check and that's it. So this is again unstoppable. And no, I mean actually I can defend this.
I didn't see that.
Sometimes I stumble into things. This is actually a very funny way of defending this checkmate. But bishop d2 is a really nice move because you're taking away this. Oh, actually, maybe. No, you can just go bishop g4 here, right?
Oh yeah.
And if knight moves, then bishop
why?
here.
Why play complicated when you could play simple?
No, wait. What did I do? So after here, I went here. Oh,
Oh
okay.
my God! Wait a second. Wait a second. I just realized something. And where was the knight? Can I play queen takes h2 and then bishop f3?
The classic,
That would be very nice.
of course. Why? Yeah.
Why play simple when you could play complicated?
But okay, so he takes with the rook, doesn't want to allow any of these things, and g4. Okay, so this is starting to look a bit scary. I like this move because
Yeah, so if you took the knight on c6 right away, then g takes f3 is unstoppable checkmate. So you have to get rid of your knight being on f3 because the black pawn arriving on the f3 square is too much for white to deal with.
it's really annoying when your own pieces get in the way of your attack because of this bishop. But the thing is now without this light square bishop, even if I let you take it, my king has an escape route. So bishop went back, c takes b7, now you cannot take, and rook f1. Why rook f1?
So I guess his defensive intention is f4, and he just wanted to be able to recapture when the pawn comes to f3. Might be an oversimplification.
No, I think that's exactly it. I thought, but okay, again, not my game. I'm happy to give up this h2 pawn, but he doesn't want to do it. No, this is very straightforward. Rook d3, the queen is overworked. We cannot take it. Oh, bishop c1, such a nice move. Attacking this guy. Rook d6. Why not rook h5? Because bishop f4 maybe still, and just kind of ignore everything.
Yeah.
No, f3 was hanging there. So what happens if rook here?
Maybe rook f2? Just saying your rook is hanging now,
But I think I will
officially.
take.
Oh, okay. Actually, yeah, this is becoming scarier than it should have been. Can I take on g4 first?
Yes.
And now maybe rook f... No, rook f8, you play rook d1, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't want to even calculate that.
Yeah, that actually looks quite bad. So what do we do here? I mean, rook d4 is a very reasonable move here.
Yeah,
So I think that my claim is also like your queen is just completely out of the game.
and every endgame is good for white because of the material and also the difference in quality of the bishop, so queen g2 might be a serious threat.
Yeah, and rook f8 is also a pretty big threat. So instead he went rook d6, change of gears, but now bishop comes with a tempo. So trades and rook d4. Okay, so rook d4 was a strong idea. And I think here you may not, and now we see the queen is out again. And I think this actually...
You're the one getting attacked.
But no, there's bishop e7 still. But maybe queen d5. Or no, can I go after this pawn? Queen c2? Your queen is just so useless, right? Just other side of the board.
Yeah, queen c2 is very nice. It stops bishop c5 and attacks the c7 pawn.
So here we can just
we can
kind of
zigzag.
until...
We can eventually, bishop d8, queen g8 might just win a piece.
Yeah, queen.
Or queen d5 also, yeah.
Yeah, all of this very strong. So instead, he decides to bring the queen back. But now the tables have turned, and this bishop, as we saw, doesn't come back. Excuse me. So yeah, doesn't want to take on c6 because now you just won't be able to move, and rook d1 just drops the bishop. Instead, he went rook e1, but the queens come off, and here he resigned, right? After a6, he resigned because d6 is coming, and actually rook c1 and d6 is coming. Black just simply cannot move.
Do you want to check back in with Benjamin? See if he's found everything. So we're getting pretty close to the position that we analyzed, right? So black decided to play h5 as opposed to knight f5. The point being, black doesn't really want to play knight f5 because as soon as you do that, it's funny, you think, well, you're attacking the bishop so the king must stay there, but actually we will undefend our bishop and play the move king b6. But in the previous position, instead of playing, well, okay, I guess, yeah, so if you play king b6 in this position, then black will play knight d5. So the knight actually has to stay on e7 to prevent king b6.
And we have this key defensive idea that either I will take the pawn, or if you take it, I run here. I don't think he will blunder this, but still he needs to find this. Well, he still needs to find this idea, right? That knight f5, king b6. So he just has to wait with the bishop, and has to make sure that he's not blundering anything in the way as he does it. But I think this one, I think he's already found it, I would think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually expect this game to be over pretty soon.
Well, last time we said that. Let's see what's happening in this game. Oh, so we did reach move 40, so the players are thinking, oh wow, actually black has not made a move. So after rook e5, black has not made a move in this position. He has been thinking since getting his excuse me, extra 30 minutes. And excuse me, what is going on here? I think rook b6 is a possibility, or because rook e7 is not a threat, rook b6, maybe knight b5 is the idea, and now I can go back, or I can go rook a2. I really want to get my rooks into the game. If knight c3, I can pin. This will be pretty annoying. But okay, if not rook b6, what else can we do? Maybe, no, knight g4 is not a move. Knight g4, rook f5 is possible. What else? Maybe rook c3 here. With the idea of...
taking a4 even, right?
Yeah, there we go. And also threatening rook d6. And if you do something like this, then rook d6.
Yeah, white needs to be careful that his second rank and back rank don't become weak. Black is not without his own threats.
Then if you go here, I wanted to go here with the idea of mate. It actually starts to look dangerous. You go here, maybe knight g4.
Maybe after rook e6 I can play knight e4. I don't, like rook c5, rook e6, knight e4 is my like tactical idea. But maybe you just like go away, and then knight f2 you have rook e1 and knight g4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this would be a bad way to lose the game.
We have found many ways to lose the game. Oh, he did play rook c2. Oh, that makes me feel good. He gets to move. Unless Eval just drops immediately, like rook c2 was worst blunder ever.
Yeah, playing like Yasser Quesada Perez is not a bad person to play like.
Wait, so now his clock went up to 34 again. Oh, so he probably... I think the way these clocks work, like you have to flag for your 30 minutes to be added.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually...
Or you have to make a move, maybe.
I think that's how most clocks work, at least in the US, is that it waits until your clock completely goes down to 0, and then it adds the extra 30 minutes.
Okay, so if I'm looking correctly, on move 37, he has 15 minutes. No, that's not 37. What am I doing? 38. He has 15 minutes. He has 15 minutes. He has 13 minutes. And now he has 34 minutes. So he spent 20 minutes, which is reasonable. Move 41. Although a lot of mistakes do happen on move 41. You know, you start to think and then you overthink, you make a mistake.
I think it has a lot to do with like changing gears, right? Like you're playing in this like blitz mode, and then all of a sudden you need to think again. And you can run into, I've done both things where I've moved too fast at move 41 because I was in time pressure, now I'm not. And also I've done the reverse where I immediately put myself in time pressure again. So move 41 was the only time I could think.
There is no right way of making the move 41. Yeah. Hopefully it's a force move, so you just make it and then you can get over with. Yeah, these things are so tricky because like I've also made it at move 40. I've made some kind of like a move that kind of changed the character of the position, and then I reach move 41. I'm like, oh, why did I do that? Why didn't I just reach time control and think like a normal person? But yeah, this change of gears, any kind of change of gears, I think is very tough to do in chess. There's a lot of games we haven't looked at. So in Group B, this game that we're looking at, this is now rook, knight versus rook. Black will try for a very long time. Let's see when was the last capture. Last capture was move 49, so we can go until move 99, 40 more moves to go. But these are pretty simple draws.
Yeah, I mean, Gleb Dudin is a very, very strong international master. Probably should be a grandmaster soon, so we don't expect these sorts of players to mess up these endgames, but it does happen, so he still needs to play accurately.
So let's see what else we have here. So we had one result here, so Felix won, so we expect this game to be a draw. Let's see this Akshat Chandra game versus Mikhalevski. So Akshat seems to be doing quite well.
Yeah, Akshat could also tie for first. I think he's on +1 right now, and he's about to beat somebody on the same score group as him.
So let's count material: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3.
But yeah, the
naked king.
yeah.
So we are move. So last move he took on G7. So we are on move 42, and actually let's see the time situation. So he reached this with a 1 minute on the clock and 16 minutes, and he's thinking. So I don't think it's going to be in a rush. So what's the problem here? The king, of course, and this rook cannot move because queen G5 is coming.
Yeah, you can't move any of your pieces, right? Like, if you move your queen, then maybe knight F3 will come, because the queen is preventing the knight on H4 from moving. The rook can't move because the queen will come to G5. Yeah, I want to play the move rook F6 here. I don't know the computer thinks of that, but...
Can I... I wanted to take, but immediately it's made.
C7, yeah. I think all your pieces are just frozen.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. But white has to... But if, for example, if I play here immediately, this is so bad, right? Because I just take away all the ideas.
Right, yeah.
So it's Akshat to move. He had a winning position yesterday. Unfortunately, he did let go of that win. So I think today he will really want to win this game to make up for it. And looks like he is doing really well here.
Yeah.
So I think there's quite a few moves. Rook F6, maybe...
I think from a psychological perspective, it's really important after you blow a win to win your next game, or at the very least not lose, because it's so easy to be like, oh, I should have won this game, and then you draw, and afterwards you just don't play very well because you were like, well, what should have been, and you just have to be in the moment.
The tilt is too real in chess. What else do we have going in this? So have we looked at all the games? So this one we saw. I'm just going one by one. So this is not a game we have seen. So we see another opposite color. Do we see another opposite color bishop position? Okay, so
yeah, probably.
So
right.
this will
Bishop
be
E2.
taken, and so looks like one of these pawns is going to fall, right? So this is hanging, so we will take.
Wait, I'm curious. Oh, that's actually. So what were we doing against king E8 instead of king F8? So we went to like attack the rook on D7. So we just capture the pawns.
So I think this is very bad, right? Because I think here you lose both pieces, which is really funny. Just by capturing a pawn, everything is hanging. So what do I have to do? So I have to give up this. Wait, C7 is it? C7? No, check on C7 is a big threat actually. So I have to fight against that. Let's say I go here, you take, maybe I take, and no, again bishop B5.
Yeah.
But then I have to defend this endgame. So actually really funny, right? That rook D7, king F8, because you would think, okay, I'm up a piece. I have.
It's more important to save your pawns than your piece in this instant, I suppose.
So king went to F8. I don't think this is something black wants to do, because now I will win this pawn. So white wants to keep this tension. So it wants to take, and now I can either take on. No, I can take this, and then next move win this pawn. I think, or I can take on B7 and next move win on B5. I don't know which one is more annoying.
I kind of like the reverse, because I might not even take the B5 pawn. Like, I'll play rook B7, and then C6, C7 comes to mind as an idea.
Yeah, this actually might become very concrete, right? Because maybe I want to just win by pushing my pawn, and bishop B5 might be a loss of tempo. Long term, there's this wrong bishop, but I think that is so far away. And also, if this pawn ever moves bishop c4, with the idea of rook f7 will be devastating. So this actually looks very scary, because this pawn is running at the least. And I also, again, want to take and maybe slide bishop back to c4. So if I, for example, if I go here, this might actually already be lost, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I'm going to defend this. So I have to go here. My idea is c7, at least I can So my point is to cover this b8 square because this was the idea. And
But maybe we can reverse the order somehow. Like if I play rook d7, or I mean like c6, bishop e5, rook d7, you probably have to go to a8 anyway, because I'm threatening c7, rook d8. So if you go to a8, then I take on b5 and.
No, but I think here we just go c7.
Oh,
right?
c7 anyway.
Yeah,
so this just wins.
Bishop d4 is a very silly move by me because I'm just provoking a move you want to play anyway. So I already have to think about how to stop this pawn. So maybe already bishop e5. But bishop e5, maybe you have f4.
Yeah, you definitely want to be able to play bishop e5 at some moment in time.
Yeah, so maybe your move, just put the rook in front of the pawn. But this looks extremely unpleasant. But if I do this, because bishop c4 I take, and if you go c6, then I'm just always attacking this. And then...
Although even this position looks very unpleasant.
Yeah, but the point is if you... But maybe... Oh, but now I'm happy to...
Like f4 or something.
Or put a bishop on c7. That was my idea.
Oh, well, wait, so after bishop e5, f4, you have to go to d6, right? Because if you go bishop c7 now, maybe bishop c4 is annoying.
But then...
Then rook... Yeah, rook f7, rook g7.
Oh, I cannot... No,
yeah,
I can.
bishop b5. Right? Oh, I didn't see.
Okay, but still I lost quite a few pawns, so this is quite unpleasant. Okay, so Jason Liang in a driver's seat, doing really well. So he took on e2, so he's going to be pressing for a very long time.
Yeah, this has the potential to be a very bloody round in both sections, actually.
And there's one more game. This is 3 versus 2. Not the easiest
always bishop
win.
versus knight, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of bishop versus knight here. And this knight, not a very happy knight. So this knight is actually quite dominated. So maybe... So what is white's idea? I want to play here and no. Well, if you move your king, if you start... Okay, this moves like a bit senseless. Something like this already. Or maybe bishop f4. Now I have to calculate a lot.
It's...
No, but I've...
Yeah.
Oh, did I find a draw?
Yeah, because f's...
Oh, no, I have g5.
Oh, yeah. Just in time.
I can actually queen and king here. Okay, but in this position that we have, without making so many crazy moves, this knight is actually quite dominated, and I need my bishop. Where do I need my bishop? I need my bishop on b4, I think. But still not such an easy win for white. Not easy to make progress. Like I want to put... I think it's going to be some kind of a zugzwang, because at some point I will put a king here and then go f4, and then we'll start running out of moves.
What do you think of the idea of playing the move bishop to c1, with the point being that if you go knight f1, I want to play the move bishop f4?
Yeah, you just completely dominated. So this will be a zugzwang at some point. You will bring your king. I don't know which way you want to bring your king, but...
Yeah, and every time you play g3, I'll mate that with bishop c1.
Yeah,
just making sure that you never have king e3.
Yeah, this is very difficult endgame to defend. So before we take a look at the standings, let's see if we have any developments. So in this game, in our key matchup in Group A, looks like we are reaching more drawish territory after rook c2. h3 was played to stop this knight g4 move. He probably was worried about it and giving up this pawn. Yeah, and knight b6. So I think white can perhaps still try against this pawn structure, but once the king goes to g6, and this knight on h6, such a great piece. Yeah, we think of like good pieces in chess as those pieces that have like lots of moves to go to, but if a piece like serves a very important function, then why isn't it a good piece? And knight on h6 serves a very important function, just defending every pawn on the board. Such a great knight, and maybe at some point we can bring it into the game. And Benjamin Bach versus some Sevian. I think we've had this position. Yeah, we had this in analysis, and we played bishop h2, I believe. But I think this is the last position with Sat, right? I don't think he has moved since. Because isn't this the, like last time we checked this game, wasn't it this position? Or
Wait,
they
I thought
made a
his
few
pawn
moves?
was on h5 last time we saw, but I
So
could
what
be
happened?
mistaken.
So bishop h2, knight g6. Okay, so he's just shuffling. So bishop d6. So he did find this idea that knight e7 is met with bishop d6 and knight f5 runs into this. So I think it's just a matter of being accurate, and all of these bishop moves will win. And I think he's going to convert this. I think he's found the idea. It's just a matter of being accurate and making sure he doesn't let anything go.
Yeah, Bach will certainly be very pleased if he wins this game. I mean, first of all, he will beat one of the tournament leaders, and I think he will come back to 50%. But also, this might be a perfect game of chess. Like he played all prep, and then his opponent made a mistake, and if he wins, he converted a theoretically winning position. Like, what more could you want from a game of chess?
No, and he didn't exert that much energy because he spent most of it was prep. And we can take a quick look in the other positions. So this game between Daniel Dardha and Abhi Mishra also looks quite even though there can be pass pawn, but not enough pieces, not enough pawns on the board. I would expect this to end in a draw.
Yeah, Illia was already a draw, right?
Yes, this ended before we started our broadcast. And yeah, fascinating round. This game versus Benjamin Bach and Sam Sevian. What a prep, what a game. What a way to win a game, 30 moves of prep, and then bishop versus knight endgame. And it's really fascinating what chess is at a high level of, when we think long prep, it's not like some kind of an attack or something. It's just bishop versus knight and, letting your opponent to figure out how to defend, and you're figuring out some kind of a theoretical domination of a bishop versus a knight.
Yeah, it's very rare that you get to prepare something. You're like, oh, I prepare a win. It's like, oh, you have some crushing attack. No, the win is that I have bishop versus knight table-based win.
Yeah.
something else.
And let's take a look at the standings. Let's see where we are. And we have just 2 results so far in Group A. Christopher Yu and Illia Nyzhnyk drawing the game, which puts Christopher Yu half a point ahead of the pack with 3 points. And Benjamin Gledura did win his game, and he's at 2.5 points, only half a point behind the leaders. And we're expecting Daro and Quesada to also draw their games, which means they will join Christopher Yu in the lead, and Sam Sevian, after he loses, as we expect him to, he will fall behind the leaders by half a point and will be joined by Benjamin Bach. And in Group B, we have Felix Blohberger, who defeated Gergely Kantor, and so far that's the only result we have.
But we do expect Akshat Chandra to win his game, so he should be able to catch up with Felix after this round. So we expect there to be 2 leaders going into round number 6.
Yeah, I do expect Akshat to win, and after yesterday's game, I'm actually rooting for him because I just know what it feels like. I think every chess player knows what it feels like to miss a win in time travel. It's very painful, and this has been another fascinating round. Thank you everyone for joining us on this Easter Sunday, and we will see you tomorrow at the same time.
Have a good one.
This has been a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club. Any reproduction or distribution of this content without the express written consent of the St. Louis Chess Club is prohibited.